Good evening and welcome to the 2024 Annual Board of Finance and Reorganizational Meetings of the Board of School Trustees. I call the meeting to order. Tonight, we begin with the annual meeting of the Board of Finance. The first item is a recommendation that the officers of the Board of School Trustees by office, as elected in the meeting to follow, be declared the officers of the Board of Finance of the Monroe County Community School Corporation. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Ross and seconded by Ashley that we approve the recommendation that the officers of the Board of School Trustees by office, as elected in the meeting to follow, be declared the officers of the Board of Finance of the Monroe County Community School Corporation. All those in favor of approving the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? No. Any abstentions? The motion carries. Mr. Kenny will now present the investing officer's report.
Good evening, President Hennessy, Dr. Oswald, members of the board. Indiana Code 5-13-7-7 requires the investing officer to submit a written report to the local Board of Finance during its annual meeting. The report must provide the name of each financial institution with whom the school corporation invested money during the previous calendar year. The Board of Finance must review the report and the investment policy during the meeting. During 2023, the MCCSC deposited or invested monies at the following financial institutions: Matrix Trust Company, which is for our VEBA accounts, Old National Bank, AP Checking and Savings, and Old National Wealth Management at the amounts shown. The funds invested at Matrix Trust, as I said, were for the VEBA Plan Trust funds. The 12/31/23 balances were not available and have not been in previous years, so we use the 11/30/23 balance. Interest rates decreased substantially in early 2020, remained low throughout 2020 and 21. Interest income received from ONB accounts totaled $191,211 in 2020 and $77,223 in 2021. Interest rates increased in 2022 and have remained steady in 2023. Interest income received from ONB accounts totaled $458,708 for 2022. Interest income for 2023 totaled $1,794,713. This is due to an investment strategy that keeps MCCSC dollars invested at the highest rates available on a daily basis. It includes utilizing sweep accounts and negotiated interest rates. Funds not currently needed for operations are invested in Old National Wealth Management Treasury bills at rates that are above negotiated interest rates for operational funds. A copy of the policy regarding investments is attached for the board's review.
Thank you, Mr. Kenny. Are there any comments from the board? Mr. Kenny, please continue with the financial condition of the corporation report.
Thank you. Indiana Code 5-13-7-8 requires the superintendent or the superintendent's designee to submit a written report to the local Board of Finance during its annual meeting. The report must assess the financial condition of the school corporation using the fiscal and qualitative indicators determined under Indiana Code 20-19-7-4 by the Fiscal and Qualitative Indicators Committee. The Board of Finance must review the report during the meeting. The attached 6 graphs comprise the fiscal and qualitative indicators referred to as the school dashboard by the Distressed Unit Appeals Board, or DUAB. Overall, the dashboard is intended to provide a picture to alert DUAB and the school corporation to signs of financial distress. I am pleased to report that the MCCSC shows no signs of financial distress as of December 31st, 2022 or December 31st, 2023. The first graph is a presentation of ADM over the past 10 years. ADM is the number of eligible students enrolled in a school corporation on a particular day, count day, designated by the State Board of Education. ADM held steady over the period from fall of 2015-16 through fall of 2019-20. There was a decrease in the fall of 2020. That decrease has held steady through the fall of 2023. The second graph is a presentation of fund balances over the past 10 years. Our fund balances showed steady growth from 2013 to 2017. They have remained steady from 2017 to 2020. They increased in 2021 and have held steady in 2022 and 2023. The third graph is a presentation of annual deficit surplus. The MCCSC shows a surplus in most years. The annual deficit surplus must consider the timing of the bond proceeds and the disbursement of the bond proceeds to complete capital projects. The large surplus in 2020 is due to the receipt of the bond proceeds for the Tri-North Middle School project, while the deficit in 2021 is the spending down of those proceeds. The fourth graph shows fund balances as percent of operational expenditures. This percentage has declined slightly since 2017. It has increased in 2021 and decreased again in 2022. The fifth graph shows revenue by type. The different areas show revenue from federal, state, and local sources. Also shown are debt revenue and operating referendum revenue. Federal stimulus has been added in 2020. Federal stimulus amounts have increased in 2021 and 2022 as reimbursements have been received. The sixth and final graph shows operating referendum revenue as a percent of total revenue. This is the amount of property tax revenue and other tax revenues received into the referendum fund. It shows the amount of the operating referendum revenue to total revenue. In the case of the MCCSC, it has varied from 4.4% to 6.4%. It will show an increase in 2023 due to the successful November 2022 referendum and the increased tax revenue generated by that referendum.
Thank you, Mr. Kenny. Are there any comments from the board on that portion? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Kenny, for the information presented tonight. The Board of Finance meeting is now adjourned. We will now move on to the annual reorganization meeting of the MCCSC Board of School Trustees. I hereby call this meeting to order. The first item for our consideration is the reorganization of the Board of School Trustees. One person has indicated a desire to fill each officer position on the board. They are Board President April Hennessy, Vice President Aaron Cooperman, Secretary Ross Grimes, Assistant Secretary Ashley Pirani. Are there any other officer nominations at this time? If so, please state the nominee and the position for the nomination. Hearing none, I hereby nominate the following officers for the calendar year 2024. Board President April Hennessy, Vice President Aaron Cooperman, Secretary Ross Grimes, Assistant Secretary Ashley Pirani. Do I have a second?
Second.
It has been moved by April Hennessy and seconded by Ross Grimes that we accept the recommendation as presented. All those in favor of approving the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any against? Any abstentions? The motion carries. The next item for our consideration is to adopt the 2024 board meeting calendar. The board calendar replicates prior year's schedules with meetings occurring on the fourth Tuesday of every month when possible. Do I have a motion to adopt the 2024 board meeting calendar?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Ashley and seconded by Kathy that we adopt the 2024 board meeting calendar. Any comments from the board? Okay. All those in favor of approving the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any against? No. Any abstentions? And the motion carries. We will now consider items 3.07 through 3.09 collectively. They are Resolution 2024-01, Board Member Compensation, Resolution 2024-02, Use of Facsimile Signatures, and consideration of annual conflict of interest disclosure statements. Do I have a motion to approve items 3.07 through 3.09 as presented?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Ross and seconded by Ashley that we approve items 3.07 through 3.09 as presented. Any comments from the board? All those in favor of approving the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any against? Any abstentions? The motion carries. The next items for our consideration are items 3.10 through 3.13, which we will take collectively. They are appointment of legal counsels, appointment of the school corporation treasurer, Mr. John Kenny, and deputy treasurer, Mr. Adam Terwilliger, authorization for the treasurer and deputy treasurer to invest corporation funds, appointment of executive administrative assistant to the Board of School Trustees, Ms. Karen Butcher. Do I have a motion to approve 3.10 through 3.13 as presented?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Ross and seconded by Ashley that we approve items 3.10 through 3.13 as presented. Any comments from the board? Okay. All those in favor of approving the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any against? Any abstentions? The motion carries. The next is item 3.14, ex officio committee appointments. I appreciate all of you for your willingness to participate as an ex officio committee member. The 2024 ex officio committee members and the board appointment of the ex officio committee member for the Bloomington Redevelopment Committee for all committees are as follows. ISBA Legislative Liaison, Ashley Pirani. MCCSC Foundation Board, Aaron Cooperman. Insurance Committee, Ross Grimes. High Ability, Kathy Fuentes-Rohr. Health Council, Aaron Bentley Wyatt. And the Bloomington Redevelopment Committee will be Sam Fleener. Are there any concerns with the appointments? Hearing none, I make a motion to accept the recommendation of the ex officio committee appointments as presented. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, it has been moved by me and seconded by Ashley that we accept the recommendation as presented. All those in favor of approving the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any noes or abstentions? The motion carries. Also, as a part of item 3.14, we will vote on the non-board member appointments, which are continuing appointments as follows. MCCSC Building Committee, Jim Muelling, is that right? Sarah Rogers and Martha Street. The Monroe County Stormwater Advisory Board, Sam Fleener. The Monroe County Solid Waste Citizens Advisory Committee, Brad Lucas. Are there any concerns with the appointments? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the non-board member appointments as presented?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Ross and seconded by Aaron Cooperman that we approve the non-board member appointment as presented. All those in favor of approving the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any noes or abstentions? Nope, motion carries. This concludes the 2024 reorganizational meeting. Our next regularly scheduled board meeting will be held on Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024, and this meeting is now adjourned. I think it was the first time I seconded him.
Brandon, here's sign.